Hey guys, it's Avenger. Welcome back to the channel, and we are taking up Milviz's Service Pack 2 with the 310 today, including the Blue Canoe Air Force livery for the liaison aircraft. Now, we're doing a little short jaunt today from Siletz Bay, the Orbx airport, to Lebanon in Oregon, up here in the northwest of the state. Why? Well, because we can, and I feel like something relaxing to start the year with. So join me as we hop on in. Okay, well, my power's already turned on, which is always helpful. Let's make sure everything is set where it should be. And we are ready to start the aircraft for today's little jaunt. Let's make sure we get everything set up here. I've got those turned off. I just did it a second ago because I just resetted. Resetted, is that a word? I just reset. I suppose is the correct word here. Right, let's check the fuel down there. I always wondered, is there actually a viewpoint that takes me straight down there? There is. There we go. So it's on left. Main? And that should be on right main. No, you know what? That was left main. We were alright. Okay. GPS units are started up. I'm running the default 430 and 530 at the moment, and I'll explain why when we're in the air. Because this does support the various GTN 750s. But I've got a little thought on that once we get airborne. Okay, looking good here. Let's make you go away, shall we? And let's make sure we have our favourites up here, wherever they are. There we go, little Einstein on the cockpit panel. Okay, so batteries are on. Fuel pumps are high for start. Mags are on. Clear prop. There we go. Good start. I believe I have to set these to low for takeoff. So we'll leave that there. It takes a bit to remember every aircraft's particular ins and outs of startup and operational procedures, but we get there in the end. So it's not a very long flight today, but we head down towards Toledo in Oregon again. A bunch of place names we go to today that are in other places of the world, not just Oregon. So let's get my head operational here. I've just reinstalled Flight Simulator and everything else because I just built my new PC. We have a Ryzen 9 5900X. We have the Asus X570 motherboard, the Crosshair 8 Dark Hero Edition. We have 32 gigabytes of 3600 megahertz Corsair Vengeance or Dominator RAM, I believe it is, and we have my existing RTX 3070 Ti Vision Edition graphics card. So I'm now getting a meaty 60 to 80 FPS in the sim, which is beautiful. Everything is so much smoother. Now, weather conditions are pretty calm here. We're looking at 3 knots of wind. So we'll be departing to the south today. We've got runways 17 and 35. We'll be using 17. Got about 3,200 feet of runway here, so plenty here. Now, Toledo will touch and go. We've got about 1,500 feet there, so not a ton. I will link Toledo and Lebanon in the description, as always. And we'll talk a little about Lebanon when we get in the air, because it's a cool little town. I don't know, I have this affinity for small West Coast American towns, especially in the Oregon and Washington area. The Pacific Northwest is very appealing to me for some reason. Okay, so we are making sure everything is set up and good to go here. The sim is sitting smooth on Ultra, by the way, and I'm really happy with how it's performing at the moment. Okay. Okay, looking good there. Alright, let's get ourselves out of here. Get ourselves on the road, or road's the wrong word, in the air. I hope you've all had a wonderful new year. And I hope this recording comes out okay, because I've had to set up OBS, Sony Vegas, Audacity, my head tracking, the sim, everything. Granted, I was able to point the sim at itself, which, by the way, if you don't know, you can essentially, once you reinstall the base part of the sim through Steam or the Microsoft Store, when you launch it and it says it wants to update and install huge amounts of data, you tell it, where it shows the install location, you point it back at where you have your sim installed if it was already installed on a different drive, and boom, repaired. Finds it. Okay, let's pull that back a little bit. There we go, let's pull the RPM back in. Let's gear up. Let's get our flaps up as well. A little dark January weather down here in Oregon. Keep our climb going on as we are gaining speed, and hopefully it'll get a little bit brighter here in the cockpit, but I will say it is a gorgeous, gorgeous day here for January. Very light winds, 3 to about 5 knots, and otherwise cloudy but not overcast, so I can perfectly happily live with this. It is, at the time of recording, the 2nd of January. 2 days into 2023. How did we get here already, huh? 2023. 3 years of this sim technically existing. It's a weird thought, but it's an exciting one all the same. 2250-ish on there. We'll square that off. And we're looking good there. We've got a nice little flight down the Oregon coast. Beautiful part of America. So yeah, 3 years of this sim. Now, I promised, I was about to say warned you, I'd talk about the GTN units for the sim. Now, we have 2 options for that, of course, TDI, or TDS, and the PMS50. Now, there's a free version of the PMS50, which is what I will be reverting to, if I use it at all. Because as a paid user of their subscription, I will not be renewing it. Mine's up in this month. And why not? Well, it's a yearly subscription service for their Pro version, which you still have to buy Navigraph chart subscriptions to use, whereas charts come with the TDS model, which is also a newer model of the unit. So it's a one-time purchase versus a rolling subscription where I need 2 rolling subscriptions, so I'd rather not, actually. And frankly, I have realised I don't use them as much as I would. Are they nice because of the touchscreen? Yes. Is that worth the money? No. Considering that Working Title have brought their technology to the GNS 430 and 530, I don't see the point. They're both perfectly functional units now with way more functionality than they had by default. So to me, that is more than enough. And I'm perfectly happy with it, in fact. Let me just... There we go. 5 minutes away from Toledo. We'll do straight into Toledo and we'll touch and go. And then we will head on inland towards Lebanon, just south of Salem. But no, please, in the comments, give me your opinions if you use the GTN units and which one you use. But my personal opinion, and I won't influence yours, I'm not paid by either of them. I don't currently own the TDS one, but I'm looking to probably purchase it. I just don't find the PMS50 viable financially, considering it's been a year, and I realised I thought it was a one-off payment. Turns out it's a subscription, and I don't see the point. There haven't been that many updates to it, and it's not exactly friendly on the old frames at times. Not that that's a big concern right now as I run along here at 70 plus FPS, which is rewarding, let me tell you. Okay. Should be down by the river here. Not too far away from us. Speed's looking decent right now. Okay. Well, my first proper flight on the sim since reinstalling, and I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. whole new machine, brand new installation of Windows. Everything is new. Obviously my hard drives were all added in, my existing data, so there's that. I've copied a lot of settings back across, which helps. But you'd think it would be a simple process building a new machine, and it's not. It's arduous. From the hardware, from using a spare graphics card to basically install most of the software and get things basically operational. I'm using newer versions of some things I used to use, and as a power user of things like Photoshop and GIMP, more recent updates to GIMP at least confused me a little bit because it's changed. I'm using a new version of Sony Vegas. I upgraded to 18. Should do 20, but I got 18 from Humble Bundle for a steal, so not only does it help charity, but I get it for much, much less, which I'm totally on board with. Okay, coming in now, so I'll pull the power back for us. Yes, quiet. Not sure where Toledo's going to be, but we'll hopefully do a bit of a touch and go the runway there, and then we'll turn inland towards Lebanon. I wanted to come and visit here because I've been looking at some add-on airports on flightsim.to, and this one looked interesting, so I thought we'd come and check it out, at least briefly. And it gives me a good time to really give the sim a good kicking. And, of course, the updates to the Blackbird 310, which are useful, because I love this aeroplane. I really do. It's one of my favourites that's come out for the sim in terms of a twin. I'm looking forward to their B-55 and anything else they're releasing, because they put some really good stuff out. So I'm keen to see what we get. Oh, we're descending a little bit too quickly there. So what did we get in the change logs? Well, so we, of course, they brought a number of fixes, which they do list, of course. And we have the Avionics hot swap capability is intended as a means to allow visible and usable 3D models, particularly GPS suites. Now, the update to the porter gives you a blank panel, rather than giving you the two GPS models like we see in this one. If I was to click here, go to options, it gives you 3D models for the TDS and the PMS 50, which is useful. Right, where is this airport? It's down there. Okay, this is definitely going to be a quick touch and go. We'll come down the valley and do a quick downwind as we're right there now. Okay, we're below gear speed, so I'll drop those now to let myself idle the throttles out. We'll talk more about the differences once we get ourselves through here. So that's it down there. Tiny little strip by the river. Should make for an interesting approach. Just under the wing there right now. See right at the end of the tip tank? Look how smooth everything is. I love this. Okay, give myself a notch. I'll do a flaps here. Okay, our turn through the base and final is going to be coming over this crest, coming round here for base and down here for final. We should drop us out on the approach. Not quite the standard box pattern, but given the terrain, it's what we have to work with, and the fact that the 310 does like a more flat approach, we need to be a little bit more measured about this. Okay. Nicely does it. Bit more power. She's a bit of a hog when she has some flaps in. There we go. Props full fine. There we go. Power back now as we're going to be descending. The world's so much more vivid and full of things now. Only slightly, but it does feel like a big difference. I need more power here. I'm going to get into trouble. Getting below terrain as well. We'll just clip over the top of here. A little too close to the trees for comfort in a 310. This is a bit of a dogleg. I wouldn't say it's my best pattern, but we'll call it useful at the moment. I just want to try and get the flattest approach possible here. This is very short, and this lands fast, so... How are we looking? Oh god, I have to slide past this ridge here in front of us, and I should get a straight-in approach. Should do us no trouble whatsoever, right, Einstein? Keep it about 90 right now. We'll balance that speed with pitch once we get over here. I see it, I see it, I have the runway. Okay, this might require a bit of a sachet, so do apologise if this is unconventional for you 310 lovers, but it's a little bush trick. It's called making an entrance. Yes, I'm not lined up with the runway. I'm well aware. Hi, runway. Meet aeroplane. Oh, we're not sticking around. There's not a lot of runway here. There we go. And peel out of here. Didn't get to see a lot of it, and a little bit off centre, but I'll take it. First time going into there. We'll just get ourselves on course for Lebanon here, and we'll talk about Lebanon itself. It's a cool little town. And it really embodies the kind of place that I love about America and flying in America. These small little American towns with their history that's so personal. It's unlike a lot of places in the UK and in Europe, established centuries ago, millennia ago in some cases, by ancient civilizations. The Romans, for example, founded Chester, a city in the UK, thousands of years ago. So the history goes back a long way. Trading posts established by organizations and governments and empires. Whereas you have this real personal angle to a lot of places in America. And reasons behind names that really do make things interesting. So we'll just make sure we're stabilizing out here in our climb. It's about 20 minutes and we'll be in. Probably less actually once we get up to speed. Much less, in fact, probably 15 minutes and we'll be in the ground, on the ground. In the ground, bad. Being in the ground is very bad for your health. We will not be doing that. Let's give ourselves 25 inches for climb. Okay, so Lebanon. Now, it's in Lynn County, Oregon, and it's to the northwest, in the northwest of Oregon, southeast of Salem. I mentioned that earlier. Now, it has 18,000 people as of 2020, and it's beside the South Santiam River on the eastern edge of the Willamette Valley. I got that from Wikipedia. It's close to the Cascade Mountains, which, of course, is one of the big ranges coming down south, and it's near Corvallis and Albany. Popular with walkers and biker and cyclists. It's got water parks. There's a whole kind of Oregon small town vibe, which is something I really love. Now, in 1847, Jeremiah and Jemima Ralston bought a pioneer's cabin and staked a claim. They built this log house on the low rise of what will soon become Main Street in the town, and they built a store there, and it became a stop for gold seekers on their way to California, heading down the coast and through the Cascades. Now, as it usually does, a village grew up around that store, and in 1855 they filed to incorporate a town, or to formalize it as a town, and they named it after Jeremiah's birthplace of Lebanon, Tennessee. So there is a link between Lebanon, Tennessee and Lebanon, Oregon. There was a guy from Lebanon, Tennessee, who him and his wife moved out there to start their life, which is an adorable little story if you think about it. It's got family character and perseverance and creating something from nothing, which is something I really love about these small towns. They really do have a certain character to them. But either way, we are getting ourselves en route now. We're pretty close to being level enough. I'm going to drop our nose back down a little bit here, and I'll pull the power back out to about 25 inches. Make sure our RPM is good. Knock a bit off the mixture, but not too much. Temps all looking reasonably good here. Everything is fine and dandy. So, changes. Let me turn my head tracking off so I can read from my document here. So we had, oh dear, yep, steer in the right direction. So we have a new VOR2 gauge added to the panel. Nav1 switch only affects the DME readout. Fixes, including animations, failures, check left RPM stayed at idle. We have adjusting trim via button or hat switch resolution too high, that's been fixed. Exterior view open doors showing as closed, fixed. Animation for the OBS knob has been sorted. The ADF heading knob as adjustment jumping has been fixed. Storm window animation locked when double clicked rapidly, no longer occurs. Props on the ground windmilling and feathering in certain wind conditions has been fixed. So we have avionics fixes for the GTN instrument testing, does not change the HSI. Altimeter log movement, but the MB does not change what the HG does. DME failure, tip code resetting after repair. ADF indicators, ADF cards, general ADF fixes. HSI flag working in GPS mode now. Multiple electrical fixtures. I will not go through all of this for you because there's a lot to write here. We have lighting fixes, we have flight dynamic fixes to excessive glide performance and unrealistic flight characteristics in high bank situations. Fuel burn has been modified. So engine pump failure is now implemented properly, engine cold start delays have been corrected, trim positions corrected, DME nav systems, heaters, not that they do anything of course. There is so much done to this aircraft. The list of changes is significant. There's no longer a scraping metal sound when you ditch into water, which is useful. And yeah, looking at this, a significant list of changes. Now, obviously, this was a free update for those who own the 310. If you don't and you're looking for a good twin in this sim, I highly recommend this. If you want to go somewhere in a hurry and you want to fly a twin piston, buy the 414. If you want to go somewhere because you want to enjoy the journey, the 310 is the aircraft for you. By a country mile, it really is. And I purchased this myself. Actually, no, I didn't. I was given a copy of this by Milviz. But Milviz Blackbird, they're Blackbird now. It's the artist formerly known as Prince, the developer formerly known as Milviz. I think it's a better name for them actually, because Milviz really does lead them down a military pathway in terms of what they're offering. That's what they used to do. Obviously, they've done a lot more civilian stuff recently, and they're great. So, yeah, rock on, guys. But whilst I was sent a copy of this for review, this is an aircraft I've gotten so much joy from. I purchased, of course, the Porter myself. I purchased a couple of other aircraft from them, including the Corsair, which was but of course we had the free Beaver as well. This, though, has been a joy. This aircraft really is, and the version 2 has just tweaked and perfected what was already a great aircraft. It's probably one of the most complex ones we have in the sim in terms of failures and fixing, repair, realism, save state sort of status of an aircraft. And it's a quick, but not too quick, but small GA twin, which gives you that real kind of, I want to go somewhere, but I don't want it to take 10 hours vibe, but I also want to enjoy the journey, so I'm not going to, flying at 20,000 feet on oxygen too, which is always good. I tend to wax lyrical about some things sometimes, but I really do like this plane. They are a fantastic aircraft to fly. If you're looking for something like this, I'd highly recommend it. Obviously, New Year, people have been taking a break over the holidays. We had Flow come out, of course, before Christmas. We had two Bell 206s coming out almost at the same time. Weird timing there. I'm looking forward to what we get in the new year. There's some really big releases coming, which I'm excited for, and we shall see what they bring to us, because there's a lot of potential for cool stuff. I'm looking forward to creating some cool new roleplay scenarios for you guys, by the way. I know you guys enjoy the flight adventures, and we'll be taking those up a notch with some themed, story-driven antics. Might even recruit some friends to help with those. But I'm very thankful in this new year for all of you, my viewers. For those who come for the reviews, those that stay for the flight adventures. And I have to say, the reviewing portion of the channel wasn't something I expected to do. I came into creating the channel with the idea of I will do that, but I'd previously recorded some flight videos of just adventures, and they were alright, but it's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy taking you with me on journeys, creating stories, showing you how I explore the world. But the review thing was something that I kind of slipped into, because back in the FSX P3D days, there was a lot of, there wasn't a lot of information about aircraft releases. Like when the Otters came out, there was maybe 1 or 2 YouTube videos, and that was about it. And they were taken on like Bandicam, with some guy droning on for 30 minutes on his 480p resolution video. Other than that, there were trailers from developers, there was blurb on the website pages, and it took me so long to try and decide between the Aeroplane Heaven and the Milviz Otters. I couldn't choose. It was ridiculous. Whereas now, there's a plethora out there, but I wanted to do what I had wanted basically back in the day, which was an honest, no-frills look at an add-on. I wasn't going to make some extremely snazzed up, sexy B-roll review where I read a script essentially over the top of footage of the aircraft, mostly repeating what's in the blurb. I wanted to take you with me. I wanted to kick the tires, be like a test pilot of sorts. That's how I view my reviews. I see myself as, onboard body camera of a test pilot. I'm giving you my opinions on my initial flight impressions of the aircraft, which is why they're always very raw. I want to be very new to the aircraft. I want to be extremely inexperienced, because if I'm experienced, I will maybe gloss over things, or I will maybe not, correctly observe something. So by being less experienced with the aircraft, it gives me that opportunity, we're 5 minutes away by the way, to really kind of get an honest feeling for the aircraft. We are in a really flat part of the country right now. Wow. That's the Cascades ahead of us. Start descending gently here. But I wanted those reviews to be what you'd experience at a first time in the aircraft. What will 2023 hold? I have no idea yet, but I'm hoping it'll be fun. I would like to start streaming this year as well. That is something big as well. I would love to do. I keep meaning to. It's about finding time. It's about finding opportunity. I've been really limited with work and everything else going on, that this not being my full-time job, dedicating time to be able to find a night where I can stream. Because I want to be consistent. I want to be able to say, this is the night I will stream on, so if you want to watch, you can tune in. It's just getting that opportunity. So, we'll have to see what we can do with that regard. Okay, 4 minutes out, about 13 miles, so I expect we're going to be in the foothills over there. Flat farming Oregon here in the valley. God, this world is stunning on everything ultra. Everything just looks surreal. Yes, I'm using a combination of hat switch and my head tracking to look around. Just helps me not have to crane my neck over. See, with head tracking I can look around, but with my hat switch I can go, look, camera's back here. And now I can look around like I've turned around in the seat, rather than having to, twist my head around and look out the side of my eyes and talk out the corner of my mouth to you so you can still hear me. We don't want to do that, do we? No. As it descends wildly out of the sky, whilst looking in every different direction. So we should have an airport just up ahead of us. It's a small field on our right. There's one off to our left, actually, as well. I don't see it. Actually, no, maybe it's there, I think. No, that's the road. Is it over there somewhere? That's another thing I love about the sim now, is it's hard as hell to see airfields. Yeah, it'll be right out of the foothills, is where we're looking for over here. Let's get ourselves turned straight here. Another wavering off course, 3 minutes away. Heading up into the Cascade Mountain Range. This is a part of the world I'd love to visit one day. It's got that slow, rustic PNW vibe. I used to dislike the Pacific Northwest in the sim because of the performance around the Seattle, Vancouver, Portland triangle, but it's not been like that in this sim, and honestly it's been an area that I've explored more and more, because as much as I enjoy bush flying, I do enjoy a good GA jaunt every now and again. Getting to really just to relax and enjoy myself on a trip. Okay, where are we looking? I suspect we're going to be about in this area here, because the river's over there. I'm expecting the airport to be about here. Most likely. We've got a hill there, so it'll be built somewhere relatively flat, and I believe it's on the far side of the river, so we'll soon see. We'll soon see. It's 6 miles away. But I think we're almost on a straight-in track, if that's what I think that is. If that is what I think it is, it's not. Okay, never mind. I'm just blind. Oh, no, that'll be it there. So we'll be joining downwind, which will require us to enter a right traffic. So we'll go a little bit further this way so we could turn south, or turn north I should say, for our downwind. On my check-in we had winds and ballpark in southerly direction. I think it was about 17 something at about 3 knots, so we should be good for a... I believe the runway we're going to be using is runway 16. We are 2,700 feet. Let's try and make up for our wonky touchdown at Toledo, which always makes me think of Ohio. I wonder if that was named after someone who came from Ohio. It probably did, in fact. Most people naming places after their places of birth. Okay, we're actually quite high up here, so drop the gear to help that kill some speed and altitude. Oh boy, we're very high up. This is actually... I thought we were much lower than we actually are. We're not. We're very high up. I'm always in a rush to descend and land in these videos because I'm very much aware of the amount of time I'm ticking by on a video. I don't want you guys to have to sit here watching me potter and slowly spiral and descend for 30 minutes before I can actually get a flight going, so... I always tend to expedite things, which is probably why I look like a terrible pilot to all of you. I could do things in every which way that is correct and proper, but every video would take hours, which I know you don't want to do. So I try to one-shot things without having to make cuts, make sure things look genuine and are genuine, but I try to keep things moving, if that makes sense. Okay, a bit further over here. We'll get out towards where that brown field is, we'll turn base. And then we'll turn in final, I suspect, level with the white field. Okay, we could do that. Props full forward, mixture full forward. Pumps are low. Let's make a much better job of this time by. It's not yet a white field, it's a plant. Okay. Okay, turning base for 16. Bit more rudder than I wanted there, but we'll be okay. There's the runway. How smooth the sim is absolutely joyful. I love it. So many places I wanted to take you guys, but performance was weird, especially since the 40th anniversary update, that it's now so much better. And we are overturning there. We'll correct that on our way in. Let's correct that approach angle. My god, I've messed this up horribly. Well, we can fix this relatively easily. I don't need a long stabilized final. But it always feels like you're crashing in the 310 when you bring her into land. The bloody thing does like to drop like a rock. So you've got to manage her airspeed and land quite flat. It's almost like you fly it onto the runway. Go. Delightfully done. Nary a squeak. I just said nary in a YouTube video. Yeah. What do you think about that, huh? Nary a squeak. Oh yeah, we're cracking out the old English here. I feel like I should be flying in not Salem, Oregon, but Salem, Massachusetts. Okay, flaps are up. Again, this is a free airport. This and Toledo are both free. And they're nothing special, but these are the average kind of run-of-the-mill airports in this part of the world. And they look great for it. They really add to that vibe of flying in a real place full of people. And I love this, that we get an airport that looks this good, with moving, you know, NPCs around and custom buildings. Vehicles, really nice matched terrain, for free. We're in a new world. I couldn't go back to P3D or FSX. I just couldn't. This feels like Orbx Airports did back in that sim, and it's free. Yeah. Okay, we'll pull her up here on the parking area. Past all the private hangars. Fuel truck there. There's a diamond here. We'll stick it next to her. Oh, there they are waiting for me. Okay. Nicely done. A little bit far back, but we'll take it. Parking brake is on. And we'll just go quickly outside here. Grab my controller here because we'll take a little bit of a... I knocked something. There we go. Now, if I slow this down, we can fly around. Look how smooth this is now. Okay, it's dropped to about 50 FPS. Got the city here of... or the town, I should say, of Lebanon. With Main Street over there, which must be where the... that rise would be where the house must have been up there. That low rise just above the river here. Got the low rise there. Main Street. So that must have been where the original house was that founded the town. Huh. That's cool. And the airport here. Dozens of hangars. Looks like an oval track over there and probably a scrapyard just behind it. This really has that small town PNW feel to it, and I love this. Really nice. And Blackbird / formerly known as Milviz is 310. Yeah, somehow the best can get better. Oh, and this livery and another one were included free with the update, so... great little trip. Anyway, I will leave you guys alone. It's been 40 minutes of me waffling away. You don't need to hear this. I'll see you all next time. Bye.